Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is GGF bringing you episode 95, halfway through the 90s, of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. Bong bong, mashallah. Hope you guys are doing well. It's your boy, GGF, getting it in. We're in the White March Mountains in STALWART Village, and we're checking it out. So I hope you guys are ready to relax, chill with me, and explore more of STALWART Village. We've got a lot to get to. We picked up some quests in the White March. And now we're heading up this way to the old mine. It's a little loud. Old mine. There's an exit to the northeast. Bet you we'll find a secret up here, maybe. Barrel with a hammer and chisel. Maybe not. Nothing at the old mine. Alright, let's come back down here to the entrance of STALWART Village. There's some loot we didn't pick up. Does homie have his modals on? Yep. Does she? Yep. Pick up 17 copper pawns.
Step lightly.
We do have some quests we can go after out in the wilds. Ooh, there's something there. A teen hat. Some water, some ice flowage. Nothing much more. Oh, another teen hat. Cool. Alright, let's come down this way.
I shall be discreet.
Cool music. Oh. I'll find it without your help. Not giving up. You hear me? Surprised that's not voiced. Charlatans, oh. Isra. Okrin. Perhaps if I adjust it like so. 2 fishes. Alright, we'll talk to Isra in a minute. Let's go see what's up with Okrin. A dwarf paces with his head down and arms crossed, only stopping to hurl glances at the building behind him. His face is smeared dark with grime and soot falls from his beard as he mumbles to himself. Work my hands into bloody stumps in this place, and for what? He kicks at a mound of dirty snow. Start with nothing, leave with less. He extends his arms out. I'm sorry for your loss. Don't be, I deserve all of it. The dwarf wrinkles his nose, nostrils flaring like a horse. Well, good riddance. Should have never settled here in the first place. Some things you mean to leave behind, come to find out you packed them anyway. But I'm not leaving until I recover what's mine. They can't deny me again, not after this. Okrin gestures at the burnt-out buildings. Those sweet-tongued priests took my heirlooms. Bury the memory of my past, they said. Now I don't even have that. What priests? Only ones here. They occupied the temple some time ago, picking at desperate folk like vultures. Those priests, Andra's dogs, said the goddess would forgive, that some things are best left to be forgotten. He nods towards the nearby temple. Their leader, Lofta, I believed her words. Another one of them, a gift bearer, took my medallion. He closes his stocky hand into a fist. And now they won't tell me where it is. Your problem is that you give meaning to meaningless objects. Here, let me show you something. I need one of your rings. Okrin draws back his hand, but Zawa gives him a trustworthy nod. After a moment's hesitation, Okrin relents, dropping a jeweled band into Zawa's outstretched palm. Immediately, Zawa flings it into the lake. See, you are no worse off. Okrin's face, already splotched with pink from the cold, turns a deep shade of crimson and his mouth puckers as though his head were set to implode. After a tense moment, his breathing slows and his fists unclench, his original look of pain frustration returning. Well, why won't they tell you? Because they think that they know better, that's why. Said it was the only way I'd forget. What did you want to forget about your past? That was a different life, better days, until... Okran closes his eyes and shakes his head. Motes of soot fall onto his hunched shoulders. It's my burden to bear, not yours. I thought to cast it away, but the memories I lost were all the wrong ones. What else did you give the priests? The dwarf casts a measured look at you. He quickly turns his head away and nods. You'd understand and value. My armor, a set finer than I've ever seen, but worthless to an old dwarf. I'd traded it for the medallion, but fool that I was, gave them both. Maybe there's something I can do. Not the kind of talk I've grown used to these last few years, I'll admit. The priest may pretend otherwise, but folks here tend to look only after themselves. I'd be surprised if they return it willingly. They believe it's a sacred duty to cast the offerings to the goddess in some place where they'll be forgotten. Better to find where they dropped them, I think. What's Lofta's role in all this? She leads that group of crows. They took over the temple as folks started to leave. Came to unburden those that sought to forget their misery here, they say. Tell me about this medallion you want to recover. It belonged to my sister. It was just a pretty trinket to her. To me... The dwarf cast his gaze down. She was the last of my family, at least that still acted like family to me. Goodbye. I don't expect luck to grace me now, but if you find anything, I'll be here. Count on it. He gives you a vigorous nod. Speak with Lofta.
And what does the flame reveal?
Isra. Or
it's
Isra.
Working. Yes! I can't believe it. It's really... Oh.
The dwarven woman looks to you, a disappointed expression on her face. In her hands is a large rectangular box, covered in strange dials and symbols. What's working?
My ore locating divination tool. Well, that's what it will be. I have to calibrate it. Right now it seems to think you're a copper deposit. My Animancer contacts did suggest that a particular strong soul essence might interfere. I'm more interested in minerals in any case.
She studies you. What are you looking for?
I'm trying to recreate the instruments that first led the Pargrin dwarves to this mountain. This is my latest prototype.
She holds up the metallic box.
Centuries ago, dwarves carrying tools just like this one followed their readings to what is now the battery. If I can recreate their work, then I may be able to find ore deposits elsewhere. I was hoping to test it, but my arrival was delayed by word of the ogre attack. I haven't been able to find anyone to venture up the mountain since.
I could go up the mountain for you.
Really? That'd be wonderful. I just have to adjust the device, you see.
Her hands move swiftly over the box, adjusting knobs and dials.
It should point you toward metal deposits. We already know the battery rests on some rich veins, but I was hoping to get a reading of the surrounding mountainside. If you can follow the readings to ore and bring back a sample, I can use it to refine the device. Thanks ever so much for this.
She hands you the box. Okay. Use Isra's device to track down precious metals outside of Durgan's battery. Let's come into the temple here, I guess, and see what is what with Andra's gift bearers.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Andra's shieldsmen, swordsmen. There's a lot here if we annoy them. That would be stealing 3 pearls. No kidding.
Aye?
Aloth could grab them. Grab them, grab them, grab them. Oh, no, he can't.
I shall.
I wonder if he had a better running start.
Ready, Watcher.
Let's try Sagani, move these guys out of there.
Ready, Watcher.
Sagani, you're on an important mission. Grab the pearls. Ready? Got him. Stolen from a temple. Oh well.
Sure.
Andra's swordsman. Lafta. Quexitil. Let's line up in case we have to deal with something nasty here.
I'm ready.
Pelagina. Do we have our formation right? Yeah. Talk to Quexitil. A young man dressed in sturdy leathers glares at you. The creases in his face, tanned despite the scarce sunlight of the region, suffer a slight twitch as you approach him. I've got nothing for you. Speak with laughter if you must. He turns away, his nose wrinkled.
Zawa is ready.
Veins course under this woman's pale skin like icy fissures, yet when she speaks, her voice flows warm and soothing. Andra welcomes you into her embrace. Her features soften into a look of practiced compassion. We're here to ease the pain of your past, ready to take your burdens. With a thin smile, she nods. If you let the goddess help with your hardships, of course. Tell me about Andra. Andra's the goddess of redemption, deep like an ocean and gentle as a mother. She's here to relieve her children of their darkest burdens. We came here to aid the villagers, to heal the wounds of the past that fester in their souls. I want to know about the gift bearers. Gift bearers do Andra's most valued work. They carry the material burdens of unfortunate souls into her embrace, so that the goddess may help them forget. I thought Andra was the goddess of loss and mourning, not redemption. That's the priestess crosses her arms and shifts her weight. Common notion. Others may believe so, but the goddess's mysteries are profound. Her true power lies in redeeming your loss and regret. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? I want to ask you about Okrin's heirloom. The dwarf already asked. We gave him the counsel he needed. Slight irritation sharpens her tone. She seems to catch herself, modulating her voice back to a pleasant timbre. And naturally, we'll do what we can for you too. Ask what you will. Okrin wants its medallion back. She brings her hands together and nods. Ah, Okrin, how often we let the shadows of the past become a burden even to others. That medallion, it weighs on Okrin's mind. You're kind to help, but what he really needs is to cast away those memories. He's changed his mind. As a priest, you must listen. I listened to him. Such dark memories, so much regret. We took on his burdens for his good and for the good of the village. His belongings, his past, now rest in Andra's realm, to be forgotten so that the wounds of the soul may heal. This is the will of the goddess. I wonder what the village leader would have to say about that. You think we don't act in accordance with the local customs? The village knows we're here to help the unfortunate like Okrin. They trust us. Let's suppose Okrin has moved on. Tell me where his heirloom is. He hasn't, and that's the point. Lofta crosses her arms. Besides, you have no authority here. I can keep asking for a long time. A flash of color invades the priestess's pale skin. I see there's no dissuading you, and you seem, she glances you over, a person of will. Very well. Lofta's irritation seems to subside as fast as it rose, but you notice a lingering sense of alarm in the glances that the acolytes exchange after her outburst. Okrin's heirloom was taken by Ixtili, chosen gift-bearer among us, to be cast away as an offering to Andra. Only he knows where. She pauses and looks at you intently. 360 XP. You could ask him yourself, but he's on a trek through the mountains of Durgan's Battery. If you run into Ixtili, tell him he has urgent duties to attend here. Tell me about your gift-bearer. Ixtili has business near Durgan's Battery. Those mountains are dangerous. Lofta seems to stare at the floor for a moment, but you notice her eyes dart to one of the acolytes, a young man of exometal blood. If you insist upon carrying out this request of Okrin's, then that's where I'd search for answers. It's hard to believe that only the gift-bearer knows where Andra's offerings are cast away. Is it? Our goddess frees us from our earthly burdens. It's best if only one of us knows where they were taken, lest we all end up suffering under their weight. Let me ask you something else. Is there something else you wanted to ask about? Farewell. Regrets worth trading. Find the gift bearer. Money we can't take. And a chest full of carvings dedicated to Andra adorn every inch of this large wooden chest. Its lid appears firmly secured, even with no latch or locking mechanism in sight. Inspect it. The chest seems old, its wood cracked and bleached by the passage of time. But the edges of the lid are less faded. It appears to have been handled recently and often. Before you can take a closer look, an acolyte snaps around to face you. Andra's swordsman, don't touch that. His voice cracks like a whip. The other acolytes look at him as if to urge some composure. He frowns. I mean to say that's sacred to Andra. Please leave it alone. And if we try again?
Very well.
I'm on the trail.
Do we look around for secrets? Quick settle. Leave me be.
Slow and silent.
Alright, well, we know where we have to go. Durgan's battery for that. As you step outside, the heavy wooden door of the temple slams shut behind you. You hear someone barring it from the other side. It sounds like the priests have engaged in an agitated conversation. You get the sense that they are discussing you, but you're also certain that the door is too thick to eavesdrop through, although there may be other places nearby where you'd stand a better chance. Can't believe this.
Margaret's fire casts
How
light
could you?
in dark places.
The wooden shutters of the temple's window close tight, muffle a set of voices coming from within the building. You can't quite make sense of the murmur, but cracking a shutter open would likely help. A rusty iron latch holds the window shutters closed. With care, you should be able to unfasten it without being noticed. Unfasten the latch. You carefully begin to lift the latch from its metal hook. Halfway there, the rusted iron resists with a screech. You freeze, listening to the voices in hopes the priests didn't hear. Their conversation continues uninterrupted. Pour some oil on the latch. You grab the latch and apply just the right amount of oil, nudging the metal until its rust gives way without a sound. Carefully, you pull the window shutters open enough to let the voices flow through. You hear a man speaking, his tone agitated. You do that. Hope the mountains will do it. What if it's... His sentence cuts as if the man were speaking to all sides of the room. Posey tells them instead. What then? You lost an item, oil. Continue. You recognize Lofta's voice responding. Why would he? And with all those dangers near the battery, our gift bearer won't delay. I expect the man interrupts her. You always expect. Look where that's taken us. A dying village. Ogres at the walls. Ixtilly's not back yet, and now I have to do his pa. His voice drops and seethes, muffling what he has to say. After a moment, Lofta replies, Do you think I wanted this? That I could have known in advance? A pause ensues, its tension growing until the priestess's voice cuts it in half. We can't wait for him. We must fish out the last batch quickly. After that, we'll decide. The man responds in a broken voice, barely audible. You only distinguish the last words. In that russet wood pond, I'll go. Their exchange seems to end. Cautiously, you step away from the window of Andra's temple. The russet wood pond. To fish out the last of something. Find the gift bearer or search the waters of the russet wood.
Nice and quiet.
We have two options. Door appears to be barred from the inside. It does not budge. Okran. Hope you got good news for me.
Unseen.
So that's interesting. Andra's gift bearers. Here we have Stalwart Fishery. We didn't get to scout down this area. On the water here. See what's up with the fishery. We could stand to rest sometime soon.
Ah, now we can all free ourselves from vanity.
No.
I?
No. No hiding in dead fish barrels. The tattered net appears to have been set aside for mending. The dead eyes of speckleback, iron-toothed pike, and frost diver fish glaze up at you. These roasting fish provide much of the pungent odor permeating the fishery. Just a single worker. Fishery is closed for the night. To oil, and a wealthy noble by the name of Lord Sidrock has arrived at the stronghold. He seeks your aid in defending against something. We should probably rush back to the stronghold at once. Deal with him.
I will walk unseen.
Those ogres will be back. They were just testing our strength. Villagers galore.
Feels like it's hardly worth putting the huts back up.
Better than standing out here shivering.
At least you made it here in one piece. Fira lost her wagon and crew. That traitor, Fira, must have hit the same weather as you coming to town. Okay, so we're just about done. I think there's a few more interiors we can check. Nice to see you. Brennan Guild does their best, but there's not much work outside of the fishery. Come up here, I guess. Scout it out, grab some strange flowers. Barrett spell, I don't know what that is. Brentwind band. Camping supply. House. We'll head in. We're almost done exploring the village. Tana. Difficulty 2.
I see where you're going with that.
Unlocked. Fine robe and a hooded turban. I think we can safely grab those.
Sure.
Oil, bronze Abaddon statuette, and a stag hide.
They gone? Have those nasty brutes finally left?
These teeth have been sanded smooth in preparation for carving. 3 stalwart bonies and a fine dagger. Tana.
I heard the ogres outside, tearing down walls and murdering folk. Don't remember how things got this bad.
The elderly woman needs her hands. Her knuckles are swollen knobs, and her palms are ridged with calluses that scrape and rasp as she rubs them together.
But you're the new adventurer. Renengild's latest volunteer.
She squints at you, leaning precariously forward on her wobbling legs.
A real spitfire, she told me. Bet you'd whip those layabouts at the mine into shape.
Suddenly she cackles. I'd like to ask you about something.
Did you say something, dear?
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I was the overseer at the mine, back when it was running. Got shut down decades ago when we couldn't sell or ship the stuff. But I still remember plenty about the mining business. And I got as many folk as I can digging out the entrance.
She taps her head, a spotted dome under a thinning thatch of hair.
Been praying to the salty wench that I don't forget too much afore they finish the job.
She winks, that's all.
Got to speak up? My hearing ain't what it was.
Okay.
And what does the flame reveal?
The flame reveals we should check a few more houses. Check the fishery. There's Reningild's house, Durgan's battery, the Stalwart hot springs. Keep heading up this way. Want to get this all in scouting mode. Brentwind Band. Durgan's battery is up that direction. But there's the russet wood. Forest, Taildor.
Been looking everywhere for you.
Elzarian. You were looking for me? The man is sweating despite the cold. He opens his mouth to speak, but all that comes out is a loud hacking cough. He bends forward, bracing his hands on his thighs while he heaves and gasps. After a lengthy duration, he raises a finger, still panting. Oh, Halfrick's fault. Damn fool sent me to the other side of town, looking for you. At last he stands again. He wipes his dripping brow with the back of his hand and then offers that hand to you in greeting. Shake his hand. Pleasure to meet you. I'm the captain of the militia around here. Nice to meet you. I wanted to catch you before you went off running into the wilds. See, there's a few dangerous folk you might be out on the lookout for. Plus, if you're heading out to Longwatch Falls, I thought you could pick up a thermal pearl for me. He looks away and twists the toe of his boot into the snow. You want me to find a thermal pearl for you? That's the thing, I already found it. I just need someone else to go out and get it. Saw it in the hot springs up near Longwatch Falls. Would have grabbed it myself, but that's when I looked round and saw the Lagafoth. Must have been 50 of them. He spreads his arms wide. I would have fought, but I started to wonder what the rest of Stalwart would do without me, so I ran, for the sake of the village, of course. What's a thermal pearl, anyway? They form in the hot springs, something to do with all the minerals in the water. Smell kind of funny, but they're full of minerals, just have to crumble them into a pint. He grins, and you notice that his gums are bleeding. Does he have scurvy? They cure scurvy. Like I said, the pearl's in one of the thermal pools near Longwatch Falls. Shouldn't be hard to spot. Tell me more about Longwatch Falls. It's east of Stalwart. Got some nice views of the valley, but most folk avoid it these days. Plenty of wilder nearby, and it only takes a few inches of snow to block the pass. If you're heading out that way, I'd suggest talking to Thirsch. He might have something to help you deal with the Lagafoth. That's all I needed to know. Stop by Thirsch's place before you leave town. He's the house next to the mines. He's a veteran hunter who knows the wilds better than anyone. You said something about dangerous folk in the wilderness. We get our share of crazies out here. Most of them aren't even from the village. He laughs at his own joke. Latest groups I'd heard of were the Gleaming Society and the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull. But Renningild set aside some bounty money to see that those troublemakers were taken care of. You bring me the heads of their leaders and I'll give you the payment. I want to know about the Gleaming Society. Crazy pack of radicals that want to topple governments and kill the wealthy. Makes the War of Defiance look like a food fight. Duke Avar and the region of Red Saris both declared them illegal, which is probably the only thing those two would agree on. Anyway, check Longwatch Falls to the east. That's where they were last seen. Who leads the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull? That'd be Mestla. All of the members of the Sisterhood worship Barrett by sending as many folk back to the wheel as they can. He shivers. They've been poking around Durgan's battery, and Wild only knows why. But you can understand why no one around here was pleased to hear about it. Passed through town recently. Didn't stay long, but they stopped at the Temple of Andra. You might see if Lofta knows something. If you come across them, be careful. They're unpredictable. Let's talk about something else. What do you want to know about? Farewell. Traveled along Watch Falls.
Not a sound.
Were we in here? No, it's Renengild's house. You'll have to talk with Renengild. I'm just the messenger. Kill Mestala. All sorts of quests and content here in Stalwart Village. Is Renengild like the mayor? Uldrick.
Enough. They're gone.
Oh. She holds up a hand, which is missing the final joint of the ring finger, but it's her voice, sharp and steely, that silences the young man. As he glowers at his toes, she turns to you with dark circles under her eyes and a smile pulled taut across her thin lips.
The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's a long one.
Abidan.
Well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention.
She takes a slow breath and shoots the young man a brief but stern glare. He pulls a knife from his belt and an apple from his pocket and sets to work. It was no trouble. I'm here to help however I can.
Then perhaps you can help us find something.
She folds the page in her hand with a quick and merciless pinch.
Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. And for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own leave for good. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires.
Her eyes shine, and for an instant she looks like a much younger woman. How the mighty have fallen. What an era that must have been for the White March.
The Pargrin dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge.
She raises the map and taps a spot in the middle of a white and gray expanse. Never heard of it.
Of course. Been over 200 years since anyone's felt so much as a summery breeze near it.
She smooths the creased map.
I'm hoping you can do something about that.
She ignores the young man who shakes his head at the crackling logs. How so?
We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door.
She rubs at her fatigue-shadowed eyes. Why the sudden interest in the White Forge?
We're an old mining town. Or we were until the Adirans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mine shaft and something resembling an inn.
She thumps the sturdy wooden wall with her fist.
Since then, it's been a steady decline. You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship cheaper.
It is what we do.
But the White Forge, well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel, or something close to it, wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands, business would come.
She folds her arms and gives you a stiff nod. The young man says nothing, but he tosses a sliver of the apple peel into the fireplace. Tell me about these other expeditions.
12 different groups have come through at our request, and several more besides. Been hoping that one of them could clear the way through Durgan's battery. But young or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stone. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the wrong side of a blizzard, or an ogre raiding party.
And that's why you need my help.
That's the long and short of it. We're laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers.
Renengild nods.
But Durgan Steel could put Stalwart on the map again. Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge.
She thumps the desk with her fist. Why is Durgan steel so special?
Because you can shave stone with it, cleave cast iron in two, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable.
In her enthusiasm, Renningild shifts on the balls of her feet. She props one bent arm on the other, pointing distractedly toward the eaves of the house. Steel is steel. It may be light and it may take an edge well, but per complanca, the legends grow with each passing year.
If we could make something even half as good, we'd have a market at our doorstep and work enough for all of Stalwart.
For a split second, her gaze flickers to Uldric. How is it no one's gotten into Durgan's battery yet?
Where should I start? Ogres, blizzards, or sheer damned inaccessibility?
She ticks the items off on her fingers.
It ain't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. Got untold riches in Durgan's steel lying just inside, and never mind the White Forge itself. The Adirans who first settled Stalwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more metal than sense.
She folds her arms, shaking her head at a pitted floorboard.
But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut, the tower entrances are clogged with rubble, and it's been impossible to blast a way in.
Renningild trails off, and for a moment the room is silent, but for the popping and crackling of the fire. What happened to Durgan's battery?
It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
She waves her mangled hand in a broad crescent, averting her gaze.
Killed each other off, or so the old books say.
He glares at Renningild through hooded eyes.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place.
She scowls at Uldric.
Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after, moved to gentler, greener lands.
Had the right idea, if you ask me.
I don't see why you need the White Forge to make good steel.
Finally, someone talking sense.
He raises his knife and half-peeled apple to the fire in a dramatic gesture of exasperation.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stalwart alive.
She glares at Uldric even while she speaks to you.
No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful, glowed white-hot, and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace. Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use.
She waves a hand. Tell me about the Pargrun dwarves, also seen and avowed quite a bit, or heard about.
Pargrin's a word in their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much more.
All right, any idea of where I should begin?
The battery's up the mountain to the north. A good hike away.
She jerks her head in the direction of the slope behind the house.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
Uldric says in a breezy tone, but Renningild falls suddenly silent, consternation hardening the lines on her face. He smiles and draws his knife across the apple again.
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything.
She compresses her thin lips into a frown. Who's Galvino?
Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it. Lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She rolls her eyes.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
He looks over your shoulder at you and Renningild. I'd say that's worth mentioning. Sagani folds her arms.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there.
She crosses her arms and crumples the page in one tightening fist. You seem flustered all of a sudden. Did he do something to anger you?
Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to linger at our gates.
She laughs quickly. What happened with Galvino?
Old lunatic finally went too far. And we sent word to the Valian academies.
She frowns.
I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
I see.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
Right.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all.
She raises a gray eyebrow at him. Uldric shrugs and turns back to the fire.
Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales.
She shakes her head. Tell me about the ogre camp.
Belongs to Flames That Whisper, Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Huh.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
He pops an apple wedge into his mouth and chews it aggressively.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance or the broken stockade.
She pinches the bridge of her nose, squinting.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
He makes to toss another slice of peel into the fire, but he fumbles and drops his knife. He bends to pick it up, cursing. What does this matron have to do with anything?
The brawl outside was just the latest patch of trouble. The ogre clans are getting bolder, and we'll all sleep easier knowing they aren't circling our walls. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
She crosses her arms and looks over to Uldric.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you.
Elzarian.
But they aren't known for their patience with prattle.
Rainengild shrugs with a heavy sigh. Got it.
Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Grave's Rest. Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land.
Party gained 852 experience. Gotta see the sights, Elzarian. Actually, I want to ask you about something.
What's on your mind?
Can you tell me anything about the last expedition that went to Durgan's Battery?
They didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask.
She scratches her jaw, frowning.
I've seen all types charging through here. Professional companies with shiny new equipment as brazen as you please, and hopeless runts with nothing but tattered leathers.
Huh.
But these folk, I don't know what they were after, and the way they looked at you made you feel cold all over.
She shakes her head as if dislodging a bad dream.
Wish I could tell you more.
Perhaps we'll find more in the battery itself, yes? He nods at you with a guarded look.
What's on your mind?
I want to know more about Stalwart.
Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then.
She rubs the nub of her shortened ring finger.
But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes.
Isn't Stalwart part of the Deerwood?
Officially. Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it.
Tell me some of the more important places around town.
Here in the center? Let's see. The Grave's Rest is next door. Hafric can set you up with a room and a hot meal there. The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and the Temple of Andra is next to it. No one keeps a secret like Lavda. Or so I'm told. A few folk live in this part of town, too. Seemed a lot safer before the ogres broke through the western gate. Thiersch lives next to the old mine shaft, and Tana, the old mine overseer, is next door to me.
She jerks her thumb toward the wall. What do you do here?
I'm the mayor. Or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute. I'm a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Air Glonfoth and the Deerwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway.
She gives you a vague smile that's gone as quickly as it appears. Let's talk about something else.
What's on your mind?
I have questions about Durgan's Battery and the White Forge.
The Pargrin dwarves guarded it like a mother bear. It's a wonder we know as much as we do.
Something else?
What's on your mind?
What can you tell me about Fira's expedition?
Who? Sorry, I don't recall the name.
Her brow furrows.
Last expedition I met disappeared weeks ago. Didn't give any names, but they definitely haven't come back this way. Don't mean the Sfeara weren't part of an expedition, though. We get groups passing by sometimes looking to try their luck.
Oh, Farah.
What's on your mind?
Farewell. We have more quests.
I shall be discreet.
And we can't take stuff, some books. Select a correspondence of Giftbringer Eden. Find Berrigan in the ice caves. Difficulty 7, a lock. Find a way to unlock Durgan's Battery.
Something else you need?
Do you know anything about Durgan's Battery?
It's a fool's hope. A fantasy that's kept these parts inhabited longer than they should be.
He glances around the old house and its worn furnishings.
They say the Pargrunan dwarves developed Durgan's steel, became powerful, rich. And then one day, they locked their doors and died.
He shrugs, turning his palms toward you.
Nothing like a mystery to stir folk up. Most of Stalwart is convinced that some Pardran secret'll save us all. But that don't stop them from whispering a prayer when they pass the old fortress.
A sour smirk crosses his lips. Earlier you said I should make peace with Matron Baragon.
About the only thing folk here haven't tried. Killing one more matron won't change things for long.
He shakes his head.
Besides, her clan's flames that whisper. The one that attacked us was Wolf with many mouths. I'd know him anywhere.
They're cut from the same cloth, Aldrich. Only a matter of time before Baragon marches through that gap in our walls.
At the sound of Renengild's voice, Uldrich's shoulders stiffen. His jaw works in a silent but furious retort. You seem to disagree with Renengild on quite a few matters.
Mother's convinced that a magic forge will turn this frozen crack into a hub of civilization. She can't accept this place is dying.
He shrugs. This is your home. You can't just give up on it.
Give up on what? There's nothing here.
He scrapes the sole of his boot on the straight but weathered floorboards. What do you do here?
I'm a carpenter. Mother's a builder. So it felt like a good fit at the time.
He presses his lips into a wry frown.
Not that we've got a lot of new folk to build houses and furnishings for. These days, I spend most of my time fixing up the stockade.
Farewell. Judging from the large hole behind the gills, it can safely be assumed this trophy fish was shot with a pistol and not caught by a hook or net. Well, I'll be.
Margaren's fire
Pistol
casts
fish.
light in dark places.
And some vegetables. Wonder if I should unlock the chest for 150 XP. We'll do it later. Maybe we can get up there and sneak a peek. I guess it won't hurt me to unlock
This calls
it.
for a subtle touch.
Lockpicks required 1.
Give me a real challenge.
Oh, a exceptional pistol, tundra clothing, and 25 stalwart bonies. All the stalwart bonies. Stalwart's residents use assorted pieces of carved fish bone as a supplemental currency. Most bonies are carved from a large flat spot on the skulls of speckleback fish. The carvings are intricate enough that outsiders find them valuable for their artistry. I don't know if she'd let us take that. It might be that you're expected to take it. And she would maybe even say something like, oh, yeah, that pistol, go ahead and use it if it's going to help. Something like that. I could maybe test it, but it took around more. We didn't walk these paths too much. We have to help Rayfald. Scout near the trees and such.
Me and Sledge are thinking about heading down, joining a caravan over to Dawning.
Dawning? What for? You like your ogres bigger?
We'd have work at least, and I'm damn sick of fish.
You're a nice change from the usual madcaps and mercenaries. Renengild does her best, but there's not much work outside the fishery. Alright, let's come up here. Scout near this area. Been playing for 48 minutes, so it's time to wrap it up. These episodes just go by so fast. Fair spell, thought so. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Maybe you're enjoying the White March thus far. If you are, please like, comment, subscribe. It would be a great help, as always. And PSA, if you want to be a huge help, you can become a member on the channel. Feel free to check that out. Links in the description with information. And that said, guys, we're going to save here. Maybe there's one more house or two to go in, and then we're going to head out for adventure into the wilds, wherever they may take us. There's probably a couple maps we can check. But until then, be well, live well, stay well. Much love, peace, and joy, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Whatever it may be, feel free to check out anything else on my channel. And peace out, guys. Ciao for now.